på det, så vi fik rettet op på fejlen, og vi kunne få nye besøgende ind. I'm just going to do very brief. We're going to meet Professor Edwin from DTU, and the thing that you're doing is you're actually hacking consumer devices like DVD players, and then you use the laser for medical precision instruments. And please enter the stage. And I have visited you at your lab, which was quite fascinating because you have built all these really special instruments just from hacking consumer devices. So why do you do this, and what can you achieve by doing it?
Actually, that's my hobby. Since I was child, I like to disassemble everything from the pen to the radio recorder, and I found out that a lot of components that are interesting and I can make use of, and that starts my journey of hacking.
And you're going to take us on that journey.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, so you can call me Edwin, and I'm from Digital Health Tech. And today I'd like to show you some interesting development and also my path of hacking. So this is the world map normalized by the population, and I'm from Taiwan. It's a small country, and this country produces more than 60% of IC chips in your PC. And also we have some brands that you might know. And I think in living in this country, and I got some interaction with the people in those countries, and I got some idea to do some hacking and make use of those mass-produced components. So in the early stage of my career, I work in the Central Research Institute. What's the difference of the institute is that is directly under the president's office. So this is not common in happening in the world. So I did scanning probe metrology and nanobiosensing, X-ray microscopy, and high-speed bioimaging. So those are really precision engineering and also for some applications. And then I start my journey in DTU. That's a venture, and I did micro nano characterization and power lab on this development and micro nano 3D printing for oral drug delivery. And I remember either invite me for this talk, I sent them 2 photos. And I was happy that either I decided to have some fun. Okay, so what a hack. The hacking, for my definition, is make use of surrounding consumer products for different or even crazy applications. So it might look like this. It's kind of magic, and you have something you can use immediately. But hacking is kind of very easy. If you have a mobile phone with a 3D touch function, you can download the app. You can use your phone as a digital scale, and you can measure while you are cooking, and that's convenient. And this is a very simple hack. So hardware hacking also saves lives. So I think the pandemic, the very smart Italian engineers, they just transformed the screwdriver mask into the to help the patient breathe when they have the COVID. And this has really saved a lot of lives. And they have done this really quick. So this is the power of hacking. And in a similar time, I also helping one company to develop the COVID test product. And we need to be quick because we need to test the people if they're positive or negative. And then we need to mix the reagent. So you see, we need to have 6 vials that vibrate together, and we need to have a vibrator to kind of make it homogeneously stay inside the vial. But during the time, it's a very, very chaotic. So the shipping from the United States takes forever. So we need nearly 19,000 vibrations per minute, but the normal lab vibrator cannot achieve that. They can achieve only 3,000 or 4,000. So how can I find the vibration source? So I'm thinking about, we can use this one. From the data sheet, it can give you 17,000 vibrations per minute. That's great. And then I purchased online. I get it very soon. And then I disassemble it. You see, it took me a while because it's waterproof, you know. And then I need to violently open it. There's a motor inside. And I put in the device and switch on the power. It works perfectly. And what the best of this one is that it gives you 10 kinds of patterns of vibration. So this is the dirty secret of that company. Please don't ask me what company are. So I think, and later I show you how to hack. So I like to disassemble things, and I like to learn, and like to know what's happening inside, and to link maybe some other application and put it back. So when I was a child, I think it's a lot of fun, but my mom thinks maybe that's not that fun because I cannot put it back together. Yeah. But I really appreciate my mom didn't treat me too harsh when I did this. So I think if you like to learn this way, maybe you don't need to disassemble yourself if you're not that handy people. So you can visit the website, the Japanese website, and also the American website, and they disassemble it for you and just explain what's the function inside. And recently I discovered a YouTuber. So he is really great. He just disassembled everything, the projector and also mobile phone. What's amazing is that when he put together, it's still working. I cannot do that. So that's really amazing. So why the hack? So what you see is a mobile phone. You can talk, you can surf online. But what I see is a treasure box, because we have a scanner for your fingerprint. We have a actuator for the vibration feedback, and the CPU, a power pack, display, and this everything we need for sensing, right? So then I tell you why the hack. So this is an iPhone, and it might cost millions of euros. Why? If you only produce one iPhone in the world, only one screen, only one CPU, only one sensor, only one lens or camera. So all the costs for only one iPhone can easily higher than millions of euro. But fortunately, iPhone sold 2.2 billion units. So as we know, if you produce more, and the unit price will drop immediately when you produce a lot, because all the production processes are optimized, and you can get a lower cost per unit. So I would like to show you another reason, or many reasons, why we hack. So how we hacking can integrate high performance and low cost. So here is an example. So in the former time, I like to develop a scanning probe microscopy. We need a high-resolution scanner. So this is the magic stone. We call it a piezoelectric material. It's driven by the high voltage and controlled by the signal source and the PC. And the cost is about 3,000 euro. So this is quite high cost. That's why this kind of scanning probe systems are quite expensive. It's about 500,000 euro or US dollar. And this is the personal buzzer alarm. My daughter and my son, they all have one. And there's one component we call the piezo buzzer. So this is kind of very thin speaker, and if you apply the voltage, it will vibrate according to the frequency you apply. So I use this kind of piezo buzzer as a scanner. So I put 5 pieces for X and Y, Z movement, and cost only 0.1 euro. So 5 pieces, not only 1. And the performance, the traditional scanner, you see the distortion because the structure normally should be square. And our buzzer scanner, we can get really nice imaging result. Why? Because the piezo buzzer produces 100K per month. And the scanner here, maybe 100 pieces, maybe for a year, because not so many people needed this only for a special kind of instrument. So this buzzer scanner can get you atomic resolution. So this is the single atomic layer of a carbon atom. And on the right-hand side, this is the carbon nanotube. So we check high performance, low cost, and we can integrate new research with this, the hacking. So there's one technique can integrate the tubing, the switching, and the centrifuge, metering, and mixing. We call it lab on a disk. And this is that we integrate all the lab process. And when we rotate the disk, you can get everything done. So in the development process, we need to know what happened on the disk while it's rotating, right? So in this video, it's rotating, but we can still see the image. Why? Because we use a kind of specialized photography we call strobe photography. So we need to have a motor. The motor is synchronized with the trigger of flashlight and the camera. And when they synchronize, very precise, very well, and we can get something like this. So this is a camera shutter. It's match the frequency of the helicopter rotator. So you can see it's now rotating. It's like magic, but this science. Yeah. So this is a lab on this setup imaging. So we need circuit, programming, optics, and then we can easily cost 3 months for master or PhD student start from scratch. And then we build the big system. Then we have a camera on top, and flashlight controller, and motor, and they all synchronize with a millisecond precision. So I have a different method. This is a spy camera. You can get available online. It's transfer image wirelessly, and it has some interface you can see on the phone or on PC. And wireless power. I think the new phones, they mostly have a wireless power, so we can just charge without plug anything. And then we can use the wireless power to power the camera, and the camera is fixed on top of the disk and rotating together with the disk. Takes less than 1 week, and we can have a higher performance. So this is the video. Shows you the camera is rotating together, and we can see the image on the disk while rotating. And no programming, no circuit design, no optics, only soldered 2 wires. And this is the video capture by the spy camera. So you can see the centrifuge progress of the E-cell. So the traditional method is there's a drawback that the temporal resolution is proportional spinning speed. So if spin faster, it takes more higher frequency of image. But if you spin slower, and we have a huge gap that we only take photo when the disk rotate and back to this position. So we don't know what happened here. But with the spy camera, we image every part while the disk is rotating. So we can do something like, we can image really fast happening event. So for example, this one video shows the two liquids mixed together really rapidly. So we have, the spy camera has a higher temporal resolution. We can see the process. This is not possible with a traditional setup. So we can discover new mixing patterns on the disk. Okay, so we combine the Blu-ray optics, but this time we'll only take out the objective. And then we can just put on top of the spy camera, and we can get micro size imaging resolution. So this is the world first microscope on the disk, imaging while rotating. So here's one video I show in the conference. You can have a look. Actually, I made a photo for that conference. I recycled that photo. Yeah. So I think we integrate everything, the cell culturing and also imaging. So I also integrate drone and use a drone motor to drive the disk, because if we have something heavy, you need a higher torque. But the traditional motor is too heavy, and this Blu-ray drive motor is torque is too small, and the drone motor actually is quite efficient. So that's why I choose it. And as you can see, I use the drone motor and the spy camera and Arduino, build a small system. It can do the things exactly like the big one. So we can make it portable and to do the sample treatment outside the field, because only need a 5-volt power. Okay, so this is actually I put it outside in the booth, and you can see this is real-time image, and this is the disk is rotating. So we check the news research, and we have a shorter time to market. That's another advantage. So I'm hacking the optical drive for nanoimaging. So this is an atomic force microscope. We call it AFM. So we use a very sharp probe to probe the sample surface, and we use a laser to detect this, the movement of the probe. So normally this kind of microscope costs 100 or 200,000 euro, and it's quite expensive. And I use the optical pickup unit from DVD. And can you see? It's $20. Actually, that's at that time the price is too high. If you buy 1,000 pieces, you can get $3 per piece, and this piece can get you atomic resolution. So we can image again the carbon surface layer, atomic layer, and also this is the single-strand DNA. So this kind of cheap device actually can democratize nanoimaging. And thanks to LEGO Foundation, they found me, and also the LEGO to Nano project, we built the DIY AFM. And combine all this optics, piezo buzzer scanner, and we use the circuit board as a framework and controlled by Arduino. So the kids, they can assemble this microscope easily and get the nanoscale image easily. And it's also reported by National Tech. And this soon becomes a startup within 6 months. So it's really, really fast, because that startup company doesn't need to build all the optics. They just integrate it together and write software. And I also try to customize this setup for skin assessment. So this is very simple, that if you have less nanodot, your skin is okay. If you have more, that means you have some problem of your skin barrier function. So this is scanning. I just jump it. And we can directly use the optics for imaging. And so this is comparison. This is a traditional microscope, and this is we directly use the DVD head for imaging. Again, we use hack the Blu-ray drive for biosensing. And this is, we are using the laser to sense the nanoparticle. And nanoparticle is to bind to the enzyme in our blood. So we can sense the Zika, dengue, and the COVID. So only 4 years from lab technology to startup. So this is the video, shows how it works.
First, take a single drop of blood from the patient's fingertip, a finger prick sample. Then, unpack the ViroTrack cartridge and load the sample that you want to test. Now, open the blue box, insert the cartridge and close the lid. Blue box is powered by a patented technology called immunomagnetic assay, IMA. Blood flows into microfluidic channels where plasma is separated from the red blood cells through a microcentrifugation step.
This is a part of lab
precise amount of plasma
process.
is then transferred into the reaction chamber, where it dissolves the reagents. The mixture is then pushed into the readout chamber, which contains dry magnetic nanoparticles. Magnetic nanoparticles, coated with specific antibodies, dissolve and trap the target antigens. A strong magnetic field is then used to align the nanoparticles into chains. The target antigen acts as a glue, clustering nanoparticles together. Once the magnetic field is off, nanoclusters are formed. This process is repeated to enhance the number and size of the nanoclusters. In a negative sample, in the absence of target glue, no nanoclusters are formed. A blue laser light is then shone in the sample, and an oscillating magnetic field is applied. In a negative sample, single particles do not produce any measuring signal. In the case of a viral infection, the nanoclusters physically rotate, scattering the light and producing a modulating signal which is proportional to the analyte amount. The more the analyte, the more the nanoclusters, the higher the signal.
Okay, so this system also got the Research Innovation Prize last year. So I think it's because we modify the Blu-ray player, so it can be widespread in many different places, from advanced country to some developing country. So I skip this one. So I just check the shorter time to market. And if you hack it right, we have more advantages. We are leveraging billions of US dollar technology, and it's eco-friendly because we recycle not only material, we recycle the technology. And it's mass-produced, off-the-shelf, you can just buy it. And then if we use this kind of hack component, we can get a better price for the customer because our production price is very low. And we can have a higher profit margin for the company. And easier for the startup company. And this ready strategic investor, that means those component producers, they never thought about their component can be used this way. So, for example, the diagnostic startup company has got full support from Taiwanese optical drive producer because their market is dropping because no one has optical drive in your laptop. Do you? Anyone? No, right? But the biosensing is rising. So they got full swing to their engineering team and also financial support to this startup. And how we're hacking, actually, until now we have 6 startups and 2 on the way, create more than 100 jobs. Many patents licensed, and it's nearly every project we connected to how we're hacking, we have one startup because students cannot wait to start up the company and to get profit. And we have new on the way, and I say let's see how it unfold. But there are some drawback. The failure more than 90%, and less flexibility because the component doesn't design for your application in the beginning. So the data sheet, some company they keep it secret. And the model change, sometimes you have 10 megapixel, it can get you 20 megapixel in the next model. End of production. I think many people ask this, but for example, Blu-ray head has, if you stop production, but you can see still many thousands of heads on the market because that's for the repair market. So the startup, they just buy 10,000 of that and they sell it if they sell it all, they can buy an island and retire. So that's what I think, yeah. So what the heck is going now? Actually, I don't have that much time. I just show you, we recycle the Xbox optical head. And we just build a 3D printer. And we can print nanoscale and large volume, and this will be the new startup. Actually, when we published this results, got viral in the 3D printing field because they think, our Xbox in the corner of a living room collecting dust can print nanoscale. So this is the startup company called Auto3D. And I also try to print in super high speed. And so this is the 3D printer in the market, and if you like to have nano resolution, that takes forever for you to finish the large print. So I just try to avoid and try to have another way for 3D printing. Again, Blu-ray drive. So if we print in like in the rotation while on the disk, and this is my setup. So I print when the disk is rotating, and we use the disk, we spin code for the pointer on the disk, layer by layer, and we print layer by layer. And this is while we're printing. So the lasers is focused precisely on the disk, and while everything is moving. And nobody, actually in the beginning, everybody told me this is not going to work. But somehow, we can get it print. So this is a resolution testing pattern. And also we can print not only 2D, but also 3D. So we can print multi-layers and multi-material while testing right now. Okay. So I can also print some antibacterial surface, shark skin. And yeah, this is summer school. So, okay. What kind of joyous?
What can you learn at the summer school?
You can learn micro nano sensors and sensing and hacking.
So you can learn to hack?
Yeah.
Like you do?
Yeah.
That's great. Any questions? No questions. Do you have to disassemble old stuff, or can you buy some of these components
I
off
think
the shelf?
This one is very interesting.
That's interesting. Okay, let's hear. What could you imagine doing from this one?
I think there should be 2.4 gigabytes communication and some button, and the laser I can do something else. Yeah.
Okay, so you should be careful what you keep lying around. Oh, we have one question.
Yeah.
One brief question. No.
Hello, my name is Charlotte. So my question is, when you mix these different kind of hardware together to make one technology, do you have to think about if there's some requirements or anything in the law you have to consider?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think what you mentioned, like regulatory for biomedical application. Yeah, actually it's not that hard because those components, they got CE mark already. So it's easier for us to get approval. So I think with the strategic investor just investing in the new startup, and actually they also bring some experience to us. And so I think this is not a big issue, actually. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Edwin. Let's give a big applause for Dr. Hu.